Okay, welcome to my YouTube channel again, and today I want to presentation about my final term of classroom management. There is two part. Part one is the presentation about four topics. And my first topic is teaching tolerance. The second is helping student handle anger, frustration, and aggression. And the third is disruptive behavior. And part two is solving a problem. Okay. Next to the first topic. Topic 1, it is about teaching tolerance. What is tolerance? Tolerance is about accepting differences, whether cultural, racial, religious, or personal. Jadi, toleransi. What is tolerance? Tolerance itu toleransi. Itu tentang bagaimana kita mengaccept. Jadi kita menerima kultur dan ras dan juga agama dari personal, dari teman sekelas kita. In a classroom, tolerance means students feel safe to express themselves without fear of being judged. Teaching this help students grow into respectful and open-minded. Jadi tolerance itu lebih ke respectful aja sih ke sesama, agar supaya bisa teman-teman sekitar bisa merasa percaya diri untuk berbaur dengan sesama. Why teach tolerance? Kenapa kita harus mengajarkan toleransi? Teaching tolerance helps reduce bullying and conflict. Jadi kita mengajarkan tentang toleransi itu menolong kita untuk mengurangi pembulian dan juga konflik antar sesama. It encourage students to work better with others and appreciate diversity. When students feel accepted, they are more likely to engage in learning and build strong relationships with classmates. Jadi ketika murid-murid sudah merasa diterima di sekitarnya, murid minoritas bisa lebih terbuka dan bisa berbaur lebih dalam lagi dengan teman-teman sekelasnya. Okay, next, the strategies to teach tolerance. Strategi untuk mengajari toleransi, pemberian pelajaran tentang toleransi. Some effective ways to teach tolerance include being a role model, using materials that represent different cultures, and creating activities that promote teamwork and understanding. Ya, jadi strateginya menggunakan material untuk mempresentasikan tentang kultur dan juga aktivitas-aktivitas untuk mempromosikan kerjasama dan juga untuk saling mengerti. It's also helpful to openly discuss current events to show how tolerance matter in real life. Next is classroom activities. Metode keempat yaitu aktivitas dalam kelas. Classroom activities like storytelling about different cultures. Jadi tentang sharing kita terhadap kultur-kultur kita terhadap sesama juga. Role playing to understand another person's feeling, or celebrating cultural day can make tolerance more personal and fun for students. These activities help develop empathy and sense of community. Nah, seperti contohnya Lebaran, yang minoritas juga ada yang ikut merayakan juga. Begitu juga dengan Natal, juga ada yang ikut memeriahkannya juga. Ya, next. Okay, topic number 2. It is helping students handle anger, frustration, and aggression. Jadi topik untuk nomor 2 ini membantu murid agar supaya dia bisa menghandle emosinya, frustrasinya, dan juga aggressionnya. Jadi saya mempunyai 4 metode. The first method is recognizing emotions. Before students can manage emotions, they need to recognize them using tools like emotion charts or simple words to express feelings. Help students understand what they are going through. This skill is essential for emotional intelligence and behavior control. Second method is causes of anger or aggression. Student may act out in anger due to stress, problems at home, conflict with peers, or even feeling unheard. Teachers need to understand these triggers so we can respond with empathy rather than punishment. Okay, next it is about positive management strategies. The third method. There are many ways to support students emotionally. Calming corners, journaling, or letting them express feeling through art can help. Teaching problem solving and giving physical breaks are also effective. The goal is to guide students to calm themselves in healthy ways. Okay. And the last method, it is about teachers' role. Teachers play a big part in helping students manage their emotion. Jadi ini bagian dari gurunya. It's important not to respond with anger. Jadi tidak terlalu penting dalam merespon amarah dari murid. Jadi stay calm, be patient, and provide. Jadi kita harus tetap tenang dan sabar dalam menghadapi murid yang sedang beramarah. Okay. Clear but kind boundaries. Often students just need someone to listen or to help them reflect on what they're feeling. Nah, jadi murid-murid juga membutuhkan seseorang untuk mendengarkan masalah-masalahnya, apa yang dia rasakan juga. Okay. Next topic, it is about disruptive behavior. What is disruptive behavior? Disruptive behaviors are actions that interrupt the flow of teaching and learning. Jadi murid yang disruptif itu dia yang mengganggu dalam kelas, kayak pembelajaran tuh dia paling mau cari perhatian semacam itulah. Like constant talking, refusing to listen, or physical aggression ya. Jadi dia kurang mendengarkan, jadi dia lebih suka tidur di kelas dan lain-lain. While sometimes frustrating, this behavior often signal deeper needs or mission in the student. Okay, next is prevention first. Prevention is better than cure. Clear rules, consistent routine, and positive student-teacher relationship can reduce most disruptions. When students know what's accepted and feel respected, they are less likely to act out. Okay. The third method, it is handling disruptions. Cara mengatasi kegangguan dalam pembelajaran di kelas. When disruptions happen, respond calmly and firmly. Use nonverbal cues, change the activity, or give the student time to cool down. Jadi saat disrupsi di dalam kelas itu terjadi, kita bisa memberikan murid-murid waktu untuk menenangkan suasana. Ya. Reflective conversations after class help students understand what they did and how to do better. In serious case, involve parents. Ya. Final tips, it is important to focus on the behavior, not the student's character. Be consistent, fair, and keep records of repeated problems. Most importantly, always praise positive behavior more than punishing negative behavior. It motivates students to do better. Jadi kita lebih mengurangi semacam sanksi atau hukuman kepada murid yang lebih ke negatif ya, seperti hukuman-hukuman yang keras seperti dijemur di lapangan ya pagi-pagi ya. Sedikit storytelling, saya pernah dihukum waktu SD ya, SD dihukum dan di strap di depan tiang upacara. Nah, itu sangat memorable ya, karena saya juga pernah menjadi murid yang disruptif. Jadi saya mengerti kenapa guru sangat sangat terganggu akan hal itu. Jadi next. So in conclusion, tolerance, emotional regulation, and behavior management are all connected. A classroom that supports all students emotionally and behaviorally becomes a place where everyone can grow and succeed. As future educators, these tools will help us shape positive learning environments. So next it is part 2, solving problem. Problem 1, aggressive student named Alex. He is from 5th grade. So the question is, what classroom management techniques can Mrs. Johnson implement to address Alex's aggressive behavior? So I have 3 strategies. The first strategy is functional behavior assessment, or we can call it FBA. Yes. Mrs. Johnson can conduct an FBA to identify the purpose behind Alex's aggression, whether it's to seek attention, avoid tasks, or express frustration. Once she knows that the cause, she can tailor interventions that meet Alex's needs in a positive way. Like example, if Alex acts out to avoid hard tasks, she can provide scaffold support before frustration builds up. And the second strategy, it is structure self-regulation program. Teaching Alex emotional regulation through structured program like zones of regulation can help. These programs teach students how to recognize their emotions and use calming strategies like breathing, taking a break, or using a stress ball. This empowers Alex to control his impulse rather than lash out. And the last strategy, it is collaborate with school counselor or parents. Mrs. Johnson should involve the school counselor for consistent emotional support and also set up a meeting with Alex's parents to discuss harm factors. A team approach can lead to consistent expectation both at school and at home. This reinforces accountability and emotional growth from all directions. Jadi Miss Johnson bisa memanggil seorang konselor dan mempertemukan dengan orang tua dari Alex untuk mendiskusikan permasalahan dalam Alexnya, ya, itu dalam home factors-nya. Tim juga bisa mengunjungi entah itu di sekolah dan juga di rumah untuk mengontrolnya. So next, problem number 2. Problem 2. It is off-task students, multiple, from 7th grade math. Question: what strategies can Mr. Smith use to increase on-task behavior? So I have 3 strategies to solve it. The first strategy, it is use of active engagement technique. Mr. Smith should include pair share, competitive quiz, and group problem solving to keep students involved. Engaging the brain reduce boredom and keep students focused. Like example, turn math problems into mini challenge or games. Ya. Jadi Mr. Smith bisa menggunakan aktivitas yaitu untuk kerja kelompok, membuat kelompok di dalam kelas, ya, seperti membuat kuis juga, itu termasuk juga aktivitas membangun kelas agar lebih lebih menyatu dengan satu sama lain dan bisa bertukar pikiran di dalam masing-masing kelompoknya. Like example, turn math problems into mini challenge or games. Jadi misalnya ya seperti masalah dari matematika yang sangat susah diselesaikan, kita rubah menjadi mini challenge or games. Jadi jadikan seperti games. And then strategy number 2, it is implement a clear routine with visual cues. Predictable routines reduce urgency and distractions. A visual timer or schedule helps students stay on track by showing how much time is left in an activity. This keeps pace consistent and encourage focus. Then the third strategy is incorporate technology constructively. Rather than fighting phone use, Mr. Smith can guide it using math apps, quiz on Kahoot, or class polls. Students are more likely to focus when allowed to use tools they enjoy responsibly. This turns distraction into learning tool. Jadi Mr. Smith bisa meng-guide para murid untuk menggunakan math apps, quiz atau Kahoot, karena itu lebih membuat murid-murid enjoy juga, karena kan bisa dibilang kan anak-anak Gen Z kan juga semua memakai handphone. Anak Gen Alpha juga sekarang memakai handphone semua. Jadi untuk metode pembelajarannya ditambahkan di dalam sebuah alat, yaitu alat yang sangat dia sering gunakan seperti HP, laptop ataupun iPad dan lain-lain. Ya. Okay, so next, problem number 3, disruptive student. Jake from 8th grade English. Question is, what specific strategies can Miss Brown implement? Strategy that I have is 3 strategy. The first strategy is check-in, check-out system. Start and the day with brief meeting with Jake to set goals and reflect. This build a relationship and makes Jake aware of his behavior patterns. This method is proactive, not just reactive. Strategy number 2, it is teach replacement behavior. Instead of simply saying don't interrupt, Miss Brown can teach Jake what to do, like raising his hand or writing question on a sticky note. Students often misbehave because they lack alternatives. Focus on what to do and not just what not to do. Okay. The last strategy is implement restorative practice. If Jake's behavior harms others, involve him in restorative conversations or peer mediation. These discussions help him reflect, repair, and rejoin the class positively. It builds accountability without shame. Ya, jadi let Jake choose where he works best and praise small improvements to encourage continued efforts. So, in conclusion, final thoughts. All three cases show how traditional strategies like punishment or warning often fail without emotional support, student-teacher connection, and meaningful engagement. It have logic, empathy, and structure must work together. Jadi untuk menyelesaikan semua permasalahannya, kita harus mempunyai logika, empati, dan juga struktur yang harus bekerja secara bersamaan. Okay, I guess this did my presentation about my final term classroom management, and thank you very much for watch and hear my presentation.